Hello, and welcome to Mr. Gill talking about beer. Ladies and gentlemen, it's something I've been wanting to start for a long time actually, and we kind of got delayed a lot. We're still in lockdown here in Melbourne, but definitely something I wanted to talk about for a long time. Something that I have built up a massive collection of is beer. So currently I work at a little wine store, and one of the things we get at the end of the night is a knockoff beer. We also sell quite an extraordinary range of different beers, so that gives me an opportunity to try heaps of different stuff. Not that I have tried heaps of different stuff. So currently I'm kind of trying not to drink as much during lockdown. I don't really enjoy drinking at home. It's not one of my things. I prefer to be out in bars and clubs and pubs. Not clubs, I don't go to clubs. So we haven't really been drinking a lot, and by we I mean me. But what we're going to do today is we're going to start a little series here where we're going to taste some beers. We're going to try comparing some stuff, learn some new things, and see how we go. So today we are trying two lagers. Now lagers probably, after some really good English ales, lagers probably, wait a second, there's some really nice Belgian lambics that I love. Lager's probably my third favorite, but it is probably the thing that I drink more often than not. You know, you go out to the pub, you just have a pint of lager. So we're going to try two lagers today, both of them from Australia and both from Melbourne. That's currently what I'm getting a lot of access to. So we're going to see a lot of Australian beers in this stuff, and a lot of Melbourne beers as well. And once we get out of lockdown, we're going to be able to go and visit these places, which is going to be fun as well. But we are trying two lagers here. You might be able to see those, and hopefully in the thumbnail I've put a little bit of a better picture. But we have two lagers, both hoppy lagers. One, Edge Brewing Cabin Fever New England Lager, which is coming in at about, 4.9%, and the other is the Molly Rose Pool Party, coming in at 5.1%. Now both of these are hoppy style lagers, so they've had a bit of extra hops added to them, and so they're going to be quite tropical. As the Cabin Fever one says from Edinburgh, New England style, having that kind of, New England IPA style, which is, that kind of haziness, that hoppiness, that gives you that kind of underlying, mouthfeel. That's a bit smoother than, say, some of the West Coast where they use less tropical hops, and you might not get that kind of smooth, kind of bready taste. Let's start off with the Edge Brewing. So Edge Brewing is based in Melbourne. They are a gypsy brewer, so a contract. Basically, they use other facilities. They don't have the brewery of their own, as far as I can tell, and they use other people's facilities, pay them a fee, and go and brew their beers, and then release them like that. They started around 2013, as far as I can tell, and they're based around kind of Smith Street. So this is just a little bit north from where we sit right now, maybe 15 minutes walk. And they've done quite a lot of stuff. Check out their website, heaps of different beers on there. We've seen quite a few of them coming through the shops, and some of them look quite fun. This one is part of their seasonal series, so I don't know if it'll be coming back. I think it might, or it might be something different, but we've had this on sale we've been selling it for a couple of months. I must have picked this up a while back. I hope it's still good. Best before, it's still got a good year on it. Some of these beers that come through, because they're kind of seasonal, or because they're, unfiltered, unpasteurized, a little bit special, maybe limited releases, are not going to have that much of a long date on them, and they will taste better fresh, to be honest. A lot of these craft brewers and what they're brewing, you want to be tasting it as fresh as possible. So this might not be in the best condition. It's probably been a couple of months, but it hasn't been chilled, non-chilled, chilled, non-chilled, so which is a little bit annoying. I hope I'd been able to keep it chilled all the time, but it's basically been kept at about 5 degrees, and then we've just chucked it in the fridge now, brought it down a couple of degrees. Store cold, drink fresh. So it's been kept kind of cold, near a window over the winter, basically. Now this has been triple dry hopped with Eclipse and Galaxy hops. What we're hoping to get out of this is really quite a tropical kind of intensity, so we should be getting some stone fruits and passion, a lot of citrus. I'm hoping for kind of zesty, kind of lemony kind of citrus as well. Now as we go through this series, you're going to learn I'm not a huge fan of kind of overly hopped stuff. which is very popular, of course, to kind of have that massive amounts of kind of tropical hoppiness coming through, and bitterness and things like that. I am a very simple person. I like a simple lager, or a simple cider, or a simple wine. Or everything I like is kind of simple. I don't like to go too crazy. But we will be trying some weird stuff. So, this is going to be fun. And so that's what I thought we'd start with something that we can kind of come back to as a base of comparison. If you can get your hands on this, hopefully would recommend it. Let's give it a crack. Hey, it's a bit fizzy. It's all right. Doesn't look too bad. Quite a lot of foam coming out there at the top, but a nice good crack on it. First sip, we're always going to have straight from the can. Now, I'm not a beer master. In fact, I am a beer master. Long story. No, we'll try and keep it short. Technically, I am a beer master. Years ago, back in London, when I was operation manager for a small pub company. We had about 5 pubs, and I was like the operation manager, and there was 2 owners and stuff like that. Basically, I ran around telling the managers what to do and making sure they hit their targets and stuff. And then I also organised when things got broken and talked to suppliers. It was fun. But anyway, there was a opportunity to attend like a first beer training event for the Beer Academy, which I don't know what's happened to the Beer Academy. Maybe it was an attempt by a group of people to start up another beer training kind of system to rival what's called the WSET, which is the Wine, Spirit and Education Trust, which trains people before they get their diplomas, or in their diplomas, to get their sommelier thingies and blah blah blah. So there was an attempt to get people to start up a system like that for beer. And I was on the first ever session for that, and at the end of it we got a certificate that said Beer Master. I did that session, and Michael Jackson was there. Not the real Michael Jackson, or a real Michael Jackson, but Michael Jackson, the beer hunter, who used to have a TV show in the 70s in England, I think, called Beer Hunter. And he was there, which was kind of cool. Anyway, so we're always going to drink out of the can first. I'm not fancy. We will pour it into a glass to have a look at the colour. And I forgot to bring a glass, so give me a second. This is my new apartment. I just moved in last week, and that's one of the reasons we've delayed this series that I started, because I haven't put anything on this channel in a long time, and that was basically because I was locked down. I couldn't really get out or do anything. But yeah, this is the new apartment, and we should try and find somewhere nice to kind of do these, but I hope this works. Let's give it a little bit of a pour. Okay, so you can see very pale yellow colour, a nice bit of head, very hazy. Okay, this is that kind of unfiltered thing, but it's also coming through that New England style, which is that haziness that's going to come through from all of those hops and those dry hops added in. Unfiltered, obviously, and unpasteurized. The smell is very nice, definitely kind of that tropical hop smell. Definitely getting that passion fruit, the stone fruit. Not as much citrus as I would have thought at the start. And there's a touch of kind of pineapple. I want to say grapefruit, but I don't think so. And I haven't had a grapefruit in like 50 years, so I can't remember what a grapefruit smells like. There's almost a little hint of mango, that tropicalness coming through. Also, we're not going to spit the beer out. We're going to drink these beers. As I say, I'm not an expert. I'm technically a beer master, but what I am is somebody who's enjoyed beer and food and wine for the majority of my life. And while I really respect people who can focus in on being the expert in it, the kind of the fine characteristics of a good beer or a good wine or something like that, my life experience in working in pubs and restaurants and bars and ice cream factories and Lego shops has been that I enjoy things more than I enjoy analyzing them. I enjoy consuming them and more than I enjoy analyzing it. So we're going to be pretty rough. This is nice, without a doubt. Let's institute a star rating system right now. A 10 is what I drink. If I could drink anything in the world right now, on draft, it would be a pint of Young's bitter from a pub in Godalming in Surrey in England. So that's my 10. It was a very good pint. It's all probably changed now because they probably cleaned the lines or something like that. But that's a 10. This I'm going to give... I quite like it. I could definitely see myself finishing that. Well, I'm going to finish that. This, I don't know how many I could have. I'm starting to feel a little bit of that bitterness down at the back there, and it's not something I particularly like. Well, you're going to get it with a lot of beers, but that kind of, when you have a lot of hops, you're going to get that feeling back down there, which is not something I'm particularly fond of when it comes to beers. I'm going to give this a 5. Yeah, this is middle. I'd easily drink this can, and I'm easily probably drink another can. And it's something definitely, if I was out and I saw, I would probably have no problem at all. I could easily see how this could work with some nice food. I could feel it could be a touch colder, which is a shame because it's been in the fridge now for a few hours. But yeah, I've got no problem with that at all. Let's just finish this a little bit off. Oh, God, that tastes good. Yeah, that's a definite 5. Maybe going up to a 6 now that I've had more of it. Now, we are going to try not to get drunk in this series, which is why we're only going to do 2 beers per episode. And I'm hoping to put these episodes out at least once a week, if not more often. I have in backlog, so stored, I think another 100 beers that I've been able to kind of collect. And there's some really interesting stuff there. So we want to get through them so that we can keep on getting more beers. Because I've had to put a little bit of a hold on getting more beers. Anyway, that was a good beer. New England Cabin Fever, New England Lager from Edge Brewing. And Edge Brewing are based in Melbourne. If you can give yourself a shot of that or try some of their other stuff, I would suggest you can. Molly Rose. So these guys are based, again, Melbourne in Collingwood, around the corner from Edge Brewing, or where Edge Brewing offices are. Molly Rose has been around since about 2017. They started releasing stuff online first, like limited release, and then slowly more. And they were doing a bit of gypsy brewing, so brewing it at people's places. And then they've kind of made the step and they've built their own bar and brewery. I think hand built a lot of it themselves as well, which has been open, I think, a couple of years now, maybe 2019. And so they're doing really well. They released a lot of stuff. They've got lots of kind of core range, and then there's some specialty stuff coming through and some seasonal stuff. Nearly everything they've done so far I absolutely love. They've recently started doing a 0 alcohol % beer, which, look, I'll be honest with you, I've never really been a fan of. I think if you want beer, drink beer. If you can't drink alcohol, then too bad. Have water. Water's fantastic. But they have recently started doing a 0% or 0.5%. And it is really, really nice. It's called Citra. And I love it. Absolutely fantastic. You know, I could easily sink a 4-pack of that and not be too stressed, and then just be a bit worried that I wasn't buzzed. Anyway, we've got their pool party, which is a hoppy lager. So I'm thinking a similar style. I'm going to try and pick beers with similar styles each time, so that we can compare them. But it's a hoppy lager. It doesn't say New England lager, and I don't think New England lager is technically a style, if you look at the guidelines from like the Brewery Association and stuff like that, but it is meant to be a style. This one, as opposed to the Eclipse and Galaxy hops that the New England lager has, this is Amarillo, Kahatu, and Cashmere. It couldn't find out anywhere whether it is dry hopped, but I'm assuming it is, because you know you want it to be a hoppy lager, which you're going to get a little bit more of that hoppy flavour if you dry hop, which is towards the end of the brewing. It says on here, splish splash, refreshing lager by the pool, chill electro, swing tunes on the decks, we say hell is yeah. Okay, very funny, very funny. I love their can, I love their branding. Let's give it a shot. Ooh. Nice opening, not as much kind of fizz coming out of that as well. This one probably I only picked up last week because I wanted to try it against the New England Cabin Lager. Give it a smell, give it a taste. Ooh, okay. So this one's a lot crisper. So kind of a lot more, not sharp, but crisp. It doesn't follow through. There's not as much kind of smooth kind of mouthfeel coming on through my thing. It's more of a kind of finish. Definitely less tropical, so maybe not dry hopped at the end. Definitely, in terms of the kind of the passion fruit tropical notes you're going to get through with these lagers that get hopped towards the end. Yeah, definitely not as much of that kind of tropicalness coming through. Little bit of hint of the lemon at the end, and more of a kind of malty kind of feeling to it. So it kind of reminds me more of a, I guess, as it said, Heller's a more of a kind of traditional lager than the other one did. So this is, I guess, more European, more German style than the other one, which was New England, so American style. And we can see almost immediately there's none of that haze, so most likely not dry hopped, and most likely probably filtered. Though, as I said, I couldn't find that out anywhere. Quite clean looking, nice colour. The head on it is a bit kind of flimsy and starting to fade already, which is slightly annoying. Yeah, far less aroma. As I said, no expert, but this doesn't feel like it was dry hopped as the other one was. And I mean, I'm not a huge knowledgeable person about these particular hops here, Amarillo, Kahatu or Kashmir, but it doesn't feel that they're as tropical as, say, the Eclipse. I know the Eclipse is definitely a very big tropical hop, but yeah, you're getting far less of that on the nose. Now this one comes in at 5%, I think, which makes it 5.1, which makes it a little bit stronger than the other one. It's interesting. Out of 10, I'd say if I was just drinking it straight the Molly Rose, we're going to score that higher. Probably back like a 6 or a 7, just because it's cleaner, it's crisper. I could probably drink quite a lot more of it. There's definitely less of that hoppy kind of bitterness coming through to the back of the throat towards the end of it, and that kind of that malty base. It's a nice kind of feeling, you know. You could, yeah, it gives it. It's a good backbone to the beer, so to speak. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's better. I'm going to say they're quite actually different, and a lot more different than I thought they'd be. I thought I'd done my research here, and I thought they could be kind of similar, but they're actually quite distinct styles, stylistically different. Lovely. This is going to be a fun series. Oh boy, this is going to be heaps of fun. I'm going to say out of those two, I'm a bigger fan of the Molly Rose for sure. It is my sort of lager, you know, that clean, a little bit crisp, not as tropical, not as hoppy, not as bitter, but with a kind of a malt base that gives some structure to the beer itself. I probably, again, want this a bit colder. Maybe my fridge has been open or something. They were in there for like 3 hours. I was playing Minecraft. So yeah, that's a bit annoying. I like the colour of it. I could easily see myself, if this is on draft somewhere, and I'm hoping it is, I could easily see myself drinking quite a lot of this. And as I said, once we get out of lockdown, which is meant to be in about 4 weeks' time, it's been ages, It sucks. We should be able to go visit these guys and maybe see if we can have a talk with some of the people who work there, which would be kind of fun. I was thinking of taking the GoPro along and just hassling people and say, hey, tell me about this beer. Yeah, I'm going to say a Pool Party is probably my beer of choice out of those two, but they're stylistically a lot different, more different than I thought they were going to be. And I'd say that we need to find something else we can compare a little bit better to the Cabin Fever. Maybe another New England style. The Cabin Fever is almost, it says lager, but I know it's not an IPA, but it feels almost that kind of thing. Anyway, let's finish this. Oh, that's good. Yeah, definitely. The Pool Party for me is the one to go to. Anyway, that's Mr. Gill Talks About Beer. episode number 1 out of potentially 200. I'm looking over there at the stack of beers sitting on my counter ready to go in the fridge, and I have to start organizing them into kind of when things are going in. And actually this apartment is a little bit warmer than where I was storing them before, so I might have to think about putting them all in the fridge, which would be great. As I said at the start, and I keep on burping, the intention is to do this once or twice a week. I would love if anybody gives me recommendations for beers to try, things they think that I would love, or beers that they love, which I can always look for and try and find. There's a lot of great beer places, shops in Australia that I can get stuff from. We will be sticking with majority Australian stuff just because it's easier to find. Though I do understand that there is some Cantillon Brewery stuff coming into the shops this week. So I might try and find some of that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button down below, subscribe if you want to, and I'll catch you in the next one.